Bristol Community College, Mathematics with Dan Avedikian, Math 011, Arithmetic, Section 4.3, Problem 10. This is Section 4.3, Problem 10. It says write each decimal as a percent. And we have 6 of them. The first one is 0.70. So if you want to write that as a percent, take the decimal where it's written and move it 2 positions to the right. So it's written initially between the first 0 and the 7. So if you go 2 positions to the right, it winds up being 0.70%, which you would just really write as 70%. That first 0, you don't bother to write. So 0.70, its percent equivalent is 70%. Now B is really the same thing. It looks almost the same. It is the same. Convert 0.7 into a percent. So take the decimal where it's written and move it 2 positions to the right. Now when you start going to the right, you run out of room. You run out of positions. So you just keep going, make a blank spot, fill it in with a 0. And again, when you do that, you get 0.70%. You don't write that for a 0, really. So it's also 70%. Same answer. C and D are kind of similar. 7.0, write that as a percent. So take the decimal where it's written to make it a percent and move it 2 positions to the right. So the same thing, it starts between the 7 and the 0. You move it 1 spot. You've run out of room. But you can move it another spot. You create a blank, which you fill in with a 0. So 7.0, its percent equivalent is 700%. Now, the next one, part D, is just 7, which is really the same as 7.0, so it's really going to be the same answer. Convert it to a percent. Take the decimal where it's written and move it 2 positions to the right. That's really not written anywhere, but you can assume it comes just after it to the right of the 7. 7 is just 7 with a decimal after it. Now, if you move it 2 positions to the right, you create 2 blank spots, but you fill them both in with zeros. And again, you get 700%. So the decimal equivalent of 7 is 700%. Then moving on, 70. So same process. Take the decimal where it's written, move it 2 positions to the right. Now it's not written anywhere, but you can assume it comes to the far right of the number. 70 is the same as the 70 with a decimal on the end or to the right of the 0. Move it 2 positions to the right. You create 2 blank spaces, which you can fill in with zeros. And then you have 7,000 with a percent after it. So 70 as a decimal is equivalent to 7,000%. And finally, this one has a part F, 0.07. Convert that to a percent. So take the decimal where it's written and move it 2 positions to the right. So it comes just to the right of the 7. So it'd be 0.07%. And nobody would really bother to write those first 2 zeros. I mean, that follows the procedure, but you would probably just simplify that to saying it is 7%.